How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. I'm going to give it about 2 minutes or so to see if anybody joins up, and we'll go ahead and get started with the stream. But if you join up, make sure to, of course, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure as well to like the video, like the live stream, share it if possible. New streamer, so I'm going to try to, really adjust myself to this sort of format. I've done live streams before. I remember I used to do live streams. Back in the day, like maybe 2, 3 years ago on TikTok, I used to do TikTok debates, which are really useless. I mean, I don't pop out in anything, to be quite honest with you. But regardless, I'm excited to get into this sort of more formal live stream format. Trying to do the little YouTube thing, talk about theology, things like that. Talk about things that I'm interested in, random things. But yeah, we'll give it about a minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and get on. In the meantime, I will be checking real quick the stream, seeing how it looks. Let me check this out. All right, I think we're good. I think we are good in terms of the stream. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll give it about 30 more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I really wish I could get StreamYard Plus. I mean, there's so many benefits with that, but it's so expensive, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started in about 10 more seconds. We see that there's one viewer. If you could comment, just saying what's up. Thank you so much for joining. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, 2-minute mark has hit. Let's do it. So firstly, I want to talk to you guys about Anglican monasticism. That's what we're going to be talking about first in this stream. Now we're going to be featuring a tweet on X, or a post on X, I should say, by an old friend of mine, actually. Let's go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see, I believe it was this one. Yep, here we go. And then let me go ahead and add it to the stream. Here we go. So, Brother Anson Mary, I don't know if he knows. I don't know if many of you guys know, but I used to have a TikTok account on the app of TikTok where I would do Christian apologetics. I would do Christian debates. I would also do a lot of funny style content on there, very Christian centered. So it was all centered around the biblical themes, things like that. Now that account has since been deleted since 2023, if I'm not mistaken, or very early 2024, because I got a job and that account kind of covered 3 years of my life. Even when I wasn't a Catholic, so I didn't want any of that coming up. So the reason why I bring that up is because actually I believe I used to be mutuals with this individual, and he used to make reformed, I believe it was Presbyterian, reformed style content, Christian apologetics, where he would typically debate non-Christians, especially Muslims, if I recall correctly. And I mean, he was a very bright guy, in my opinion. I say he was because I really don't know him right now. It's kind of, we already talked very little. We talked very little during that time, and I'm sure, of course, even less now. So I'm sure he won't even remember who I am. But he has since become Anglo-Catholic. Obviously not Roman Catholic, not in communion with the Pope, but he has become Anglo-Catholic. Now, I don't mean that with any course, with any distaste or anything like that, but he has become Anglo-Catholic. And so we see he's not only become Anglo-Catholic, but he's actually become a monk. Now, with his specific case, I really want to be careful when falling into gossip, so I won't bring up certain things. It's nothing about his past sins or anything like that, so I would never do something like that. But I'll just say this: the process is very short in Anglican monasticism to become a monk. It seems like. I mean, not long ago, this individual was reformed, if I'm not mistaken, just about a year or two ago. Still got the live stream nervousness. And I mean, now he's a monk. He's an Anglican monk. Now, he got the tonsure, of course, and to check out his account a little bit, we'll see kind of how he got to that process. We see right here in his post For example, yeah, he's wearing the habit, and he's part of an order called the Community of Our Lady of Walsingham. So he's, very high church, of course. Showing off the little habit there. Sick habit, by the way. I love it. Showing off, Anglican aesthetics, which, are very beautiful. I might add. But yeah, I mean, it's very clear through this guy's post now. He seems to be very, very, very proudly Anglican. Um, I mean, he's even trying to recruit people for the Anglican monastic movement, which was made formal in the 1900s, according to him. Now, in terms of whether or not it's accepted mainly in the Anglican Church today, I'm sure in many high church places it is. I'm sure in other places it's not. Um, I know certainly before this, I mean, it wasn't accepted before. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Anglican monasticism was not really seen as as an option. It would seem ridiculous to some people. So again, looking through his account, we see, of course, he's part of this church. That is his bishop. I'm not too sure which bishop that is. Yeah, I mean, we see, of course, again, high church, Anglo-Catholic. Now, what are my thoughts on Anglican monasticism? I really see Anglicanism as a very, very, very dysfunctional religion. I have to admit, and with all due respect, I do see Anglicanism as a very dysfunctional and a very bipolar religion, especially if you look at the first couple centuries of Anglicanism. Now I know they're going to say that Anglicanism didn't start with King Henry VIII and that it began much before that, much earlier than that. My apologies. But I mean, objectively looking at this, I mean, Anglicanism beginning with the excommunication and separation of King Henry VIII. I mean, that in and of itself for me is a very important point, and I think to many. So we're gonna go off by that. Um, I mean, you're looking at the first couple centuries, and monasteries are being destroyed, of course. Then you have this sort of back and forth between kings and queens. Not back and forth as in dialogue, but rather back and forth as in this king comes, destroys all this. This queen comes, brings this back, and almost really reunites us with the Pope. If not, probably did reunite us with the Pope. I'm not sure. Um, Now another person comes in, breaks this connection. Another person comes in, brings it back. It's very dysfunctional. I mean, it's very dysfunctional in my opinion. It's very bipolar, and it's not Catholic in my opinion. It's really not. I mean, Catholic really is mainly in reference to doctrine, unifying universal doctrine. But I mean, again, you have low church Anglicans, you have high church Anglicans, you have Anglicans that will word the Eucharist in a certain way, or that will word the liturgy in a certain way, describing it, and it'll sound like two completely different denominations. I mean, it's very clear to me, at least, that this is not something that we should be part of. Now, again, this with all due respect, and if there's any Anglican that wants to appear on the show to talk about this, I would be more than happy to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, Anglican monasticism for me, it seems a lot like a lark. No disrespect. Again, there is no disrespect I'm trying to give off to this man because, again, this man is taking vows. I mean, but again, he was confirmed about a year ago. I mean, well, actually, about 2 years ago. Confirmed this Holy Saturday at St. Albans Anglican Cathedral, March 30th, 2024. Again, no disrespect to this man. I really don't want to disrespect him. I I mean, as a guy that I've seen him grow in his faith for the past, I want to say four years, no, 5 years. I mean, I have respect for this man to a certain extent. But then again, I have to be honest with this. I mean, it seems rushed, in my opinion. It does seem rushed. Not only does it seem rushed, Anglican monasticism as a whole seems like there's no safeguard, there's no safety in it. I mean, if there was an Anglican king that came in that really took his faith seriously, he wouldn't allow him, and let's say he didn't want monasticism, immediately it could be abolished. Now, it obviously won't happen, like how it did before, and I'm pretty sure he's not even part of the Church of England, and that in and of itself is a whole thing as well. I mean, for sure he's not part of the Church of England. I believe he said that in a post. But I mean, again, as a whole, what Anglicanism again just seems like such a dysfunctional religion. It really does. And again, no disrespect, but it really does seem like a dysfunctional religion. But yeah, I mean, I have more thoughts on this, but I really want to get into the other topics. Pray for Brother Anton Mary. I mean, again, I don't know him personally, but he seems like a very nice guy. And I pray that he may be led to the Catholic Church. I pray that he may be led to the true Catholic Church in communion with Peter. That's my prayer. But let's go ahead and check out something else now. I actually wanted to check out, keeping it on the conversation of Protestants. There was a poll that came out, and this stuff came out. What? Oh, this is January 21st, but I could have sworn this came out before. I'm pretty sure this came out like a couple weeks ago. We see that, according to the GSS, 27% of Gen Z is Protestant and 22% are Catholic. Now, I remember about, 2 weeks ago, Protestants were parading this online saying, wow, look at this. And the Catholics are saying that they're growing in droves. Nah, look at this. Look at this. We are growing, us Protestants. But again, let's go ahead and just keep this in mind. Most of these Protestants are probably not mainline. They're not their, Reconquista mainline Protestants. That's not, they're not in Redeem Zoomer's Discord server. And again, that's not disrespect. That's no jab. That's just a little lighthearted, comment. But I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these Protestants are probably non-denominational, if it counts non-denominational, evangelical. And again, we have Protestants, mainline Protestants. No one's disputing that there are mainline Protestants, but what I am disputing is people online saying that 27% are mainline Protestants. It's not the case. Most of these are evangelicals. I mean, it's clear to me. They're evangelicals and non-denominational Baptists that would typically disagree with the Reconquista crowd. And Catholics, people will try to dismiss Catholics by saying it's just an online growth. But until you're heavily involved into parishes, you'll see the true stats, I guess, the true in-person experience of how the church is growing. I'm involved in Catholic, not only in a Catholic parish as a catechism teacher, but also in a Catholic school. I'm a middle school Catholic school, Catholic middle school teacher. And I mean, trust me, I see things every single day that I think give me hope. They all give me hope. Just kind of wanted to show our lady a little bit right there. But yeah, I mean, again, to all these people that I'm talking about, I'm not talking against them. I'm not trying to disrespect them. From me, it's nothing but love, and I'd be more than happy to have them on this show, or even just privately call them, text privately, so it doesn't have to be on in front of the whole world. I'd be willing to do anything to discuss with them, right? Because I mean, I believe in that. But I mean, I like to just say things how they are in this case. I mean, I think it's such a cope that Protestants are trying to make this 27% into mainlines, trying to own the Catholics, the Romanist. It's ridiculous to me. It seems like such a cope, and I think it doesn't do good for your movement. I'm going to be honest. Not much about that, but one more topic, and then I got to go deal with some stuff. Let me go ahead and share this. Ubi Petrus ibi Iglesia. Where Peter is, there is the church. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because today and yesterday, I was talking to some of my community here at the school that I work at. And what really came to mind was Peter, communion with Peter, communion with the Prince of the Apostles, and who Peter is and his dignity and who Peter lives through in the present day, which is obviously Pope Peter the Third of the Palmarian Church. No, it is Pope Leo the 14th. Pope Leo the 14th is the true successor of Saint Peter. Long live Leo the 14th. We see as well a specific thing on, the head of Peter, the head of the Pope, the Papal Tiara. Now, I was talking to one of my coworkers yesterday about this. The Papal Tiara, its significance, its importance. I mean, in my opinion, I think it should really come back. I'm gonna just say it how it is. I really think it should come back. Now, I know that's not a controversial opinion, maybe not among the younger generation. But I really don't think it's a controversial opinion, but I do think that it has to be said. Why? Because I mean, people are going to use as an excuse that the Pope no longer has any temporal authority, so therefore there is no need to wear a crown. But he is still a spiritual monarch. I believe he is still. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, is he not the monarch of the Vatican? I mean, it's. I think it's important to kind of establish things like that. Of course, he doesn't have the papal states. That's obvious. But I mean, he's still a spiritual monarch, and I think the elegance of it really exemplifies the office of Peter and dignifies it, shows its dignity, shows its worth. That it cannot be bought. Even if someone was to buy the crown, it doesn't make you the Pope. This office, these jewels, all of those beautiful, beautiful vestments are meant to uplift the office of Peter. And that's why they continue even after the current Pope dies, because it is not about the specific person. It is about the office that he assumes. And Robert Prevost, Cardinal Robert Prevost, assumed the office of Pope, which then he became Pope Leo XIV. And it'd be cool, in my opinion, if he brought this back. Now, realistically, I don't think he will. I think after Pope Paul VI kind of abandoned it, I don't think it'll come back. I mean, Pope Benedict for sure. I didn't really grow up during his pontificate. I was 8 years old when he resigned, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I didn't really experience it fully. But I mean, I'm surprised now learning about him, like he didn't bring it back. He did major moves for sure, but I'm surprised he didn't bring it back. But I think the papal tiara, I think it would be received well by Catholics. Maybe not too well received by the media, but I mean, again, who's here to please the media? I mean, you can never please the media. I'd rather please Catholics than the media, in my opinion, especially secular media that will tear down the Pope any chance they get if he doesn't fit their agenda, which we saw with Pope Leo. I mean, Pope Leo was teared down. I mean, for his comments on abortion, on IVF. Things like that. And I mean, people were just saying, "Oh yeah, he's a liberal pope. He's just like us." He's not a liberal pope. And this was coming from both sides, both the trad side and the liberals. The secular. They were saying, "Yeah, Pope Leo is a liberal. Either he's not one of us or he is like us." And I mean, he kind of shows that the office of Peter kind of ascends above all of these labels of conservative things like that. Now, technically, the Pope is more conservative. I mean, he's in American standards, he would be considered probably far right. Probably in American standards, in the typical, you know. Mm. But yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and look up some pictures of the papal tiara. I mean, let's check this out. Let me share my tab. Here we go. I mean, we see, of course, Pope John the 23rd. Beautiful papal tiara, beautiful vestments. People hate on him a lot, but I mean, I kind of like him, to be honest. I really like him. And of course, not just because of the vestments, but I mean, the person that he was, very humble man. Wow, and that's one thing I do want to say. Many people were against the papal tiara because they said it doesn't show humility. It doesn't show this. It doesn't show that. I mean, Pope John the 23rd was known as a very humble person. I mean, he was known as very humble, and he still wore these beautiful vestments. I mean, that kind of shows that the vestments don't make you humble, nor do they not make you humble. They don't make you prideful. Instead, I mean, if anything, it does make you more humble because of the fact that you're carrying a tradition that is above you and ascends above you, that comes from before you and will continue after you. Though, of course, we know that eventually Pope Paul VI dropped the papal tiara. We received Pius the 12th. Pope Paul VI did eventually drop the tiara, and then John Paul the first, obviously, may he rest in peace. He died 33 days into his pontificate, so who knows if he would have brought it back? I don't think so. John Paul II, of course, Pope Saint John Paul II did not. Pope Benedict, I'm surprised he didn't. I think he might have been going to that direction. I think he definitely would have if he would have remained in his pontificate just a little bit more. And by the way, if you guys have any comments or questions, you guys can feel free to comment it. Any comments or anything like that, any questions, feel free. Anything you want me to talk about. But yeah, I mean, it's important, honestly, in my opinion, to talk about this because I think it really does exemplify the office of Peter. We see, I believe there was some like Photoshop. Oh, this one's not Photoshop, but this is the tiara that Benedict received. Benedict the 16th. There was some Photoshop like this, like of him wearing it, which it fits him so well. I gotta say, it does fit him well, in my opinion. But I think, yeah, I mean, again, it's not, yeah, it's just not, is this from a game? But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to come back for it to come back and all sorts of things. And Pope Francis, of course, may he rest in peace as well. I don't, I mean, there was no sign of him wearing it. There was no shot. Um, Now, Leo the 14th is very, 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 very similar to Benedict in some respects. Maybe not in all, but in some respects. I do think that there is a possibility that he might just bring it back. I think what he's trying to do, at least from my opinion, I think that what he's trying to do is combine the direction the church is moving towards right now, which that could be a little bit questionable. But I think that he's really trying to combine the direction of the church right now with tradition, especially with the aesthetics of the tradition of the church. I think Pope Leo the 14th might even bring back like the fiddleback vestment, which I personally prefer Gothic vestments, but I don't know. I don't really like let's see. Leo, let's see. I don't really like this type of vestment that he wears a lot. Like this right here, like the things going down, like not this, but this right here. He does wear something like that a lot. Like, I mean, we see it right here too. In his first, I mean, these vestments, in my opinion, were pretty cool. But like this is a prime example. Not a huge fan of that. I mean, I think it looks cool, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I think, and honestly, I even prefer Gothic vestments. But like, for example, like a fiddleback wouldn't be too bad one day. I think that would be pretty cool. Um, yeah, I mean, again, it's just about waiting it out. But I don't know. I'm thinking about my opinion on this. I don't know if he'll really bring it back. He might bring back a more simpler crown. Maybe not exactly like this or like this, but maybe one that kind of shows humility. Maybe something like this. I think this really reminds me a lot of like the old, medieval, maybe before the medieval church, like those, sacred art paintings that you see of the popes in like the 700s, the 800s. Really reminds me of that. I think Pope Leo will probably return to something like this, simple yet very profound. And honestly, even a slight move to a good path, I think that's a win to celebrate, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, mm, I think that's about it for today. In regards to what I wanted to talk about, if you guys have any comments you guys might want to leave or anything like that, I'll give it about a minute or so for you guys to drop that, and then let me see if there's any here on YouTube. Let me check this out. Yeah, and if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram right here. Semper Catholic, same thing as my YouTube. I make a lot of edits and things like that. I make a lot of edits, whatever. They're pretty cool, in my opinion. I think I make pretty cool edits. I think so. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have nothing to talk about, nothing else, I guess this is it for today. I thank you guys for my viewers here that are here today. I really appreciate you guys joining up. I pray that God may give us a restful night or a restful day, depending on where you are. Pray for me, pray for my godchildren, pray for my job, pray for my students, and I will pray for your intentions as well. Let us pray a quick Hail Mary in Latin. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sanctis. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Yeah, we conclude this live stream today, guys. Thank you so much for joining up. Again, I pray you guys have a great rest of your day. I love you guys. Pray for me and I'll pray for you. God bless you. Thank you so much.